Cultural intelligence, CQ concept, dimensions, development, and applications. 1. Introduction. In an increasingly interconnected and globalized world, individuals and organizations operate across cultural, linguistic, and institutional boundaries on a daily basis. Leaders collaborate with diverse teams, corporations manage multicultural workforces, students study in international environments, and citizens interact with globalized media and cultural products. Within this dynamic, cultural intelligence (CQ) has emerged as one of the most critical competencies for success. Unlike general intelligence (IQ) or emotional intelligence (EQ), which focus respectively on cognitive and emotional domains, CQ specifically refers to the ability to function effectively in culturally diverse contexts. It is the capacity to interpret unfamiliar gestures, adapt behavior, and create trust across cultural divides. CQ has gained prominence in disciplines such as international business, intercultural communication, psychology, education, diplomacy, and leadership studies. The concept emphasizes that cultural adaptability is not an innate trait, but a learnable skill that can be cultivated through awareness, training, and reflective practice. This makes CQ both a theoretical construct and a practical framework for individuals and institutions navigating multicultural environments. 2. Defining cultural intelligence. The most widely accepted definition of CQ is provided by Early and Ang, 2003, who describe it as an individual's capability to function and manage effectively in culturally diverse settings. This definition highlights several key elements. 1. Capability CQ is not merely knowledge about other cultures, but an applied competence that enables effective action. 2. Functioning effectively. Success is not defined by assimilation or dominance, but by mutual respect, understanding, and productive engagement. 3. Cultural diversity CQ is relevant wherever cultural differences, national, ethnic, organizational, or even generational exist. Thus, CQ differs from cultural knowledge, which can be static and theoretical, by emphasizing dynamic adaptation in real-life intercultural interactions. 3. The 4 dimensions of CQ. Scholars generally divide CQ into 4 interrelated but distinct dimensions. Each reflects a component of intercultural competence, and together they form a holistic model. 3.1 Cognitive CQ. Cognitive CQ refers to knowledge about cultural norms, practices, values, and conventions. It involves awareness of how cultures differ in communication styles, social structures, religious traditions, legal systems, and organizational behavior. For example, understanding that many Asian cultures emphasize collectivism and harmony, while Western cultures prioritize individualism and directness, equips individuals to interpret behavior more accurately. Key aspects include language awareness, historical and religious background of societies, cultural values framework. C. G. Hofstede's dimensions, institutional and legal systems. 3.2 Metacognitive CQ. Metacognitive CQ is the strategic dimension. It involves awareness and control over one's cultural assumptions and thought processes. Individuals high in metacognitive CQ question their automatic judgments, reflect on cultural biases, and plan strategies before engaging across cultures. For instance, before negotiating with a Middle Eastern partner, a manager might consciously set aside Western assumptions about time management and instead prepare for a more relational, flexible approach. 3.3 Motivational CQ. Motivational CQ addresses the interest, confidence, and drive to adapt to multicultural contexts. It is not enough to know or reflect on cultural differences. One must also be motivated to engage. This includes intrinsic interest in learning from other cultures, as well as extrinsic incentives such as career development or organizational goals. Motivation sustains perseverance despite challenges like cultural shock or communication breakdowns. 3.4 Behavioral CQ. Behavioral CQ is the ability to adapt verbal and nonverbal actions appropriately across cultures. This dimension translates awareness and motivation into visible practice, choosing respectful gestures, adjusting levels of formality, modifying speech patterns, or altering negotiation tactics. A person with high behavioral CQ knows not only that bowing is significant in Japan, but also performs it naturally and respectfully. 4. Importance of cultural intelligence. 4.1. In business and leadership. Global corporations rely on multicultural teams for innovation, market expansion, and supply chain management. Leaders with high CQ can reconcile cultural misunderstandings, foster inclusive work environments, and manage cross-border partnerships effectively. In mergers and acquisitions, for example, cultural clashes are often more detrimental than financial miscalculations. CQ provides the tools to navigate these complexities. 4.2. In education. Universities are increasingly international, with diverse student populations and cross-border collaborations. CQ enables educators to understand students' learning styles, rooted in cultural traditions, while students with high CQ adapt more effectively to foreign academic systems. For example, Asian students, accustomed to hierarchical teacher-student dynamics, may need to adjust to the participatory style of Western classrooms. 4.3. In diplomacy and international relations. Diplomats, peacekeepers, and NGO workers often operate in fragile environments where miscommunication can escalate tensions. CQ provides a framework for empathy and mutual understanding, fostering cooperation across divergent worldviews. 4.4. In everyday life. Migration, tourism, and digital globalization mean ordinary individuals encounter cultural diversity regularly. CQ equips them with tolerance, flexibility, and respect, contributing to social cohesion and peaceful coexistence.